Hi, everybody. Welcome to Phoenix. My name is Alex Weaver. For those of you that do not know me, I'm a NASCAR host and reporter, and I am excited to be, don't tell the rest of our NASCAR field, but two of my favorites are going to join me up here on stage. Bubba Wallace, don't roll your eyes at me. That's a true statement. First up, from 2311, the driver of number 45, Tyler Reddick. Make sure and turn on your microphone. And then driver of the number 23 in the NASCAR Cup Series, Bubba Wallace. So for those of you that don't know a whole lot about NASCAR, we're on weekend number 38 officially. So this is our final race of the season. We'll crown a champion on Sunday, but it's been a long year. These drivers know it first and foremost. We are a traveling circus, we like to call each other. We just go everywhere on the road and put on great races for our NASCAR fans. So, Bubba, how's the year been? Let's start with you.
It's here. It's over with, almost. Three more days? 3 more days, right?
Yep.
No, it's been good. It's been our best year yet. Third year with the new team, and it really made a lot of positive headlines. I don't know if there's been any negative. There may have been once or twice.
No.
But excited to see the direction that we're heading. It's Tyler's had a really good year. 23 teams had a really good year, so it's just been fun to continue to build and grow and figure out what we need to be better for next.
Tyler, we were so close to having you in the Championship 4. It was Martinsville that we locked in our Championship 4 drivers for this weekend's race, but I don't know if you would call it a strong year personally for you, but from the outside looking in, a strong year. You made it to the round of 8. How was 2023?
Well, I mean, it was I am on, right? Yeah. It was a really good year. There's a lot of ways you could look at this, but for me, I got to get started a year early with the team that for my future, wanted to be building with. And so to get that head start and for the team to, be as competitive right out of the gate, for me and Billy Scott, the 45 team, to just come together that quickly, it felt like, we went to the Clash for our first race. Our communication, what we were kind of wanting and the direction we were needing to go on adjustments or whatever it was, it just seemed to be clicking really good right from the start. And then we went to Daytona and got some humble pie, right? We crashed out, and then California we crashed out. But our chemistry on the team from really early on was very solid. So I knew that once the year kind of got rolling, we would figure it out, and we did right away at COTA, which was very special. To win there, a track that means a lot to me, a place that I wasn't very good at for a very long time. So, the wins were nice to be able to learn what we did and still go as far as we did was also really, really key as well. It was really cool to see the team bring really fast race cars, but it was a huge learning process for us to just clean up the tough days. We'd have a race-winning car, something would go wrong, and throughout the summer, we kind of experienced it, both of us. We had to grind through that and get better. And when the playoffs came around, we both rose to the occasion, and we went further than we ever have as drivers. And obviously, for year 3, for 2311 to be knocking on the door of Championship 4, I think is a really good start to their time in NASCAR.
Well, for those of you out there that keep up with the headlines of NASCAR, most of the time, in a positive light, the headlines are 2311 because there is some pretty famous owners at 2311. It is Michael Jordan's team, as well as a, no doubt, Hall of Famer, Denny Hamlin. So how has it been racing for that organization? Bubba, you've been there 3 seasons now. How long have you been in the NASCAR Cup Series? What year are we?
6.
6? Okay, so half of your Cup Series career has been with 2311.
Yep.
What's the experience been like with this team?
It's been really good. It's been fun to kind of, have your fingerprints, from day one and trying to massage and grow and kind of create the environment that you want for everybody. It's not just yourself. I think, I spoke on this last week of where I think Tyler has come from a lot of or different organizations for sure, and so have I. I had my fair share of the suit and tie and stuffy environments and do not like that at all. So I've tried to make it a more relaxed for everybody to come work at and just have fun and be yourselves, and I think that has the potential of allowing everybody to be at their max potential and show up and be ready to work. And And so 2311's definitely embraced that, and it's been a lot of fun going to the racetrack with your team. And for us, our motto is forward together. And a lot of the times, you know, for those that don't know NASCAR, there's multiple teams out there with 3 or 4 cars, and they're all vastly different, right? And I think for us, majority of the season, we show up the exact same. It's the 23 and the 45, but it's really just one team, and we can honestly say that. It's a little weird how we operate, but it seems to work. And so that's kind of the new shift that we're kind of bringing into the sport on how we operate. So it's been a lot of fun. We're getting better and better every year. Like Tyler said, it's our best years yet as drivers. So to be in the playoffs this year for the first time was really, really special for me. And yeah, just trying to close it out on a positive note.
Bubba is the OG at 2311. He was the first ever driver that they signed, started that program, and then Tyler made an announcement in a unfashionable, I don't even know what it was for our sport. We were announcing you were going to drive for 2311 2 seasons later. It was like, here are his 2024 plans.
It's like he told his girlfriend that he was getting a new girlfriend.
Exactly.
And it's just like, whoa.
It was like, hey, honey, in 2 years we have to break up, but we can hang out for 2 more years.
Yeah, it didn't really work out.
Yeah,
did it?
it was
He's
like
happily engaged. We're all good there on the
What a-
personal side. We're good.
Yeah, but announced that he was going to go 2 seasons later, and then, you know, it ended up working out that you were able to race for them in 2023. So first year under your belt, what would you rate it? Give me the letter grade.
Yeah, it's been great. You know, I didn't foresee that it would go the way that it did, but in a matter of fact of coming here 1 year early, I thought I was going to see it out there, but just how the sport works, things can change in a moment's notice, and you know, we're able to figure it out to where I could get started here early. So yeah, I mean, I could see it from afar, right? Like when I was where I was at, trying to figure out what the future would look like for me. You know, it was very obvious to see the rate of improved performance, progression, the steps that 2311 was taking to better themselves, and on top of it, right, they weren't really following the mold on how to build a race team. They were doing it their own way, in a way that was going to make them stand out, and it was a way that was going to ultimately make them, you know, potentially better than any other team. And so, getting to work with that firsthand this year has been a lot of fun. The way that, you know, the 2 cars interact with each other, like Bubba said, showing up the same way to the racetrack really allows us to lean on each other and share information and better ourselves because not every lap we're going to drive the same, and that really helps us bridge that gap if it's there when we get to the racetrack. So it's been a lot of fun. You know, there's been a lot of cool experiences that have come through it with this year. Got to meet a lot of really cool people that, you know, Michael's associated with, that our partners are, and it's been really cool to see, you know, it all, like I said, all come together. It's been a nice year.
She asked for a letter grade, not a thesis statement.
Grade?
Thank you,
Yeah,
Bubba.
sorry. A.
Damn.
I'll give it an A. Sorry.
An A. Okay, I like
There's
it.
a short version.
Yeah, summarize,
Fell asleep
please.
halfway through that answer.
She tried. I just still went just ranting
Yeah,
on.
sprinkled it in. I liked it. Let's talk about partners, because what drives our sport is, obviously, it is a very expensive sport. It is expensive to run a Cup Series car every single year. So you have to have some great people that back you, that come into the team, that believe in this team. And personally, I am going to be biased. 2311 has the coolest sponsors, the coolest paint schemes on the car. Bubba and I were talking about this earlier, too, with some of his cool ones this season. But you guys have Jordan, Dr. Pepper, McDonald's, Columbia. Who else am I forgetting? I mean, the list goes on and on of how cool and relevant now to the day and age and a younger generation that these sponsors are. So, Bubba, what's your experience been like working with some of these brands that, I mean, you get to wear J's every day and...
Oh, well, he's not really supposed to, but he still does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shh. Careful. You know, it's crazy to think about 6 years ago, you know, getting into the Cup Series, even well beyond 6 years ago. Phones, we couldn't even pay a sponsor to be on our race car, right?
True,
So now it's been cool to kind of see it 180, and partners want to be a part of something much bigger than themselves and see how we're making positive change in not only in the racing community but in the world, and just being different and pushing for, you know, inclusion and coming up with creative and innovative ways to keep pushing that envelope and keep trying to be better, and you just one up, the competition, right? And so the partners that we have a part of our team, it's been a lot of fun to know that they're not just for the let's just throw a name on the car and go race, and if you win, great. If you finish second, we'll get them next week. Like they're like, the racing side of things is the obvious, but what can we do to help our brands grow together off the racetrack and help people grow, for themselves internally to just be better. And I think that is so important, especially in today's world and over the last couple of years of just looking at your brothers and sisters and trying to be better and give that helping hand and come up with ways to just to see what you can do, right? And so, we appreciate every partner that's rolled through this year and the years to come. We know it's a tough game. It's a tough gig to keep the sponsors happy and keep them there, but you got to bend over backwards for them and do a lot of things that you're asked to do, but it all makes it worth it. You form these relationships. I mean, for me, Xfinity, Matt and his team's here ever since 2015. They came in, and Matt and I hit it off instantly and always had a great relationship. And for years, I would say we've been trying to figure out how to do something, and it took them long enough. But they were on the car last weekend. So it's super cool what they do and what they've done for our sport coming in, brand new, 2015, and where they're at now. They got a big weekend for themselves for the Xfinity Series, but just partners like that, the ones that you can hit it off instantly, and it's not even about racing. It's just about who you are as people is really, really special.
Tyler, you mentioned those cool experiences, and this has a lot to do with partners as well, but you've had Jay Balvin out at a racetrack. You've had Luca from Dallas Mavs out at a racetrack. You drank tequila at a party in Nashville with Garth Brooks and Michael Jordan. I mean, come on. It doesn't get any cooler than that, but it has to be a pretty...
Did you drink?
Did you drink?
Yeah.
I won't ask that. But just some pretty cool experiences that you mentioned, and this boils down to the partners that sign on board and the money that's obviously funding 2311, but also the people. How special are the people over there at that organization?
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It takes, a group of people that have similar goals, similar a mindset, and are willing to work together, willing to put in the extra effort, the extra hours. And I think, as you grow and as you continue to improve, it takes all those things. And I feel like, from day one, I could see that with 45 group. I could see that with the 23, how they work together, the ways that the people at 2311 are coming up with, just different ideas and working together with the partners to make them come reality. So it's been a lot of fun. And you mentioned all the heavy hitters, right? Being able to do the sort of things and have those guests at the racetrack is almost once in a lifetime, right?
Yeah.
Getting to walk into Bristol Motor Speedway,
Which was wild,
with Jay Balvin, and kind of give him the lay of the land. Like, this is what this looks like. This is what we're doing here. He came into that race knowing what we do, but had never been to a race before, and just getting to kind of one-on-one talk him through what the day was going to look like for us, what I needed to do, what Bubba needed to do. Getting to have those experiences with people like that, make those impressions with people like them is truly really special moments, and it's just been really fun to be a part of it.
These two drivers have also been followed by Netflix all season long. Bubba, you have been followed by Netflix for a long time. Bubba is an Emmy Award winner when it comes to his series.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Humble brag.
I did it for you.
Thanks.
It doesn't count.
Thanks.
What's that experience been like? I mean, a heavy hitter of Netflix, you beat out Drive to Survive, other athletic sports diversity shows, but what's been the process of working with Netflix, and what's that been like for your career?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we know Netflix has been crushing it for a while. I got my motivation to do our show called Race. I don't know if you guys have seen it or checked it out, but be sure to do it. There's an Emmy Award winner on there. It's really good. So, but it's about race inside of racing, right? And it gives you a lot of insight, and especially everything that happened after 2020 and how the sport kind of changed the game and really turned the nation, really showed a lot of true colors of people, right? And it captures that and highlights that. But I got my motivation from Drive to Survive of just, you know, what it takes to be successful. And so we had a lot of fun doing that. I knew it was going to be a lot of work, and I've done a lot of camera work in years past of how I wanted it to go, and you know, it was really like a fly on the wall type environment, not really invasive at all, but you know, we would have to go and recap like once a month, and so I kind of got, you know, how I like to do things. In the Netflix for this season with NASCAR, you know, they wanted to kind of create a Drive Survive or full swing type deal, and I didn't really have say in how I wanted it to be, whatever, which is totally fine, but there's a lot of hoops and hurdles to get through to make it good. I would say on my end, but I think it's going to be really special when it comes out. But cameras in your face, 24/7 is a lot, and if you're not comfortable around that, it definitely shows. So I think for me, it's always telling people like, hey man, you know, cameras are there all the time. Just be yourself. People are going to tend to latch on to who you are as a person more than who you are trying to be, because you know, you can kind of see through the BS. So yeah, cameras will be there till the day you're done, so you gotta get used to it.
Tyler, were they following you for your COTA win? Have they started yet? I can't remember.
Not at COTA.
Okay.
You know, yeah, they kind of got to follow me around for a little bit and see how much of a disaster I can be at times.
No.
It's a miracle I make it to the shop every day for every meeting sometimes. But it's just, I don't know, it's kind of how I guess I've always been. I've tried to do too much and be too many places at one time and try and get too much done in a day.
ADHD.
And, yeah, I know. And I'm always squeezing it to the last minute or two, or a couple minutes past, as Bubba likes to point out. But yeah, they got to kind of get an idea of how wild I can be sometimes, I guess, just in my own head, stressed out about getting the next thing done. But that's kind of how I just am wired, and it motivates me to, that's how I just roll throughout the day, roll throughout the week, stay motivated, stay on dig, stay going.
Yeah. Bubba, you mentioned race. Obviously, that followed your journey. You're the only black driver in the NASCAR Cup Series. There is a lot of work left to do, and I am hoping for more. Obviously, we have some great strides in the diversity department of our sport, but how do you feel that is going and the future of NASCAR when it comes to diversity and inclusion?
Yeah, I think, like you said, there's a lot of work to be done, in which we knew that, right? We knew it wasn't going to be talked about for a couple months and everything is good. You know, you wash your hands clean. This is a nonstop journey of figuring out ways to be better and more inclusive and providing all the right opportunities for everybody and creating just equality for a lot of people. And that's hard. That's a damn hard task to do, and do the right way. You have to have some thought process, and you can't just, you know, throw something out there and think, oh, this looks good. Well, did you check X, Y, and Z after the fact of what it could have and the impact that it may have? And so it takes a lot of the right people, a lot of smart people, and just a lot of thoughtful people, the ones that can put others before themselves and look at themselves in the mirror and be like, hey, you know, if I can be better, I can push my others to be better as well, right? And so it's been fun to kind of navigate those waters and figure out, you know, what we need to do. We've done a lot of cool things inside of our sport and outside of our sport, just talking about NASCAR and how different and not so, what am I trying to say? Like, a lot of people in the world think NASCAR is this, right? And then when they're exposed, they're like, oh shit, you know, it's actually not that. It's totally different. It may have glimpses of what you thought, and you know, it's only a matter of time before, you know, that is, you know, out of the equation. But it takes time. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of frustrating times. But you know, it's very rewarding when you do feel like you've made a strong impact in the community. So I got some people from the diversity team, and I know it's a nonstop process for them. And you know, we're always communicating with one another of what we can do to be better.
Well, you've done a great job.
Thanks.
If nobody's told you, I think you're a wonderful role model for younger generations.
Thank you.
We mentioned those younger generations, Tyler. this is the youngest championship four that we have had in the NASCAR Cup Series in this playoff format. You both have grown up in this sport in the different series. What do you think about the future of NASCAR?
Yeah, you gotta be fully committed to it. I've really found to help find my strengths by just keep pressing harder and harder on certain things, whether it's the training aspect, making sure the cars are prepared, spending time in simulation. It doesn't take long, right, to fall behind. You know, I feel like we've kind of seen it out of some of the drivers that should week in and week out go win races, right? You know, Chase's injury, Alex's injury, they spend a little time away from it, and you know, it seems like it's a lot of catching up to do, and you know, you got to be willing to take it to another level that you know, you would hope that others aren't, and just push. Whether that's, like I said, preparing for the race weekend itself, or how your mindset is in the race or in practice, in qualifying, and I feel like that's where 2311's been really helpful. You know, all the men and women there do a really good job of giving Bubba and myself a lot of information and knowledge that allows us to come to the racetrack and be better prepared. But yeah, when you look at, you know, the age of the group, as you said, you know, you got guys like Larson in there, obviously, and Bell, who for a long time, right, until they got settled in the Cup Series, whatever they hopped in, they found success. They were fast. Blaney's been obviously a part of the NASCAR world for a long time, and another younger driver. And then William, obviously, his story is at the time unique, but it wouldn't surprise me if, as we go further into time, into the future, that, you know, more and more drivers don't come from the mold that he did and the way that he did it. So you can't blink. The sport will change. The guys that are winning all the races will change, and so you have to be willing to commit yourself in the fullest extent to go out there and compete.
All right, finally, this is my last question. We are last race weekend of the year. We get a nice off season to enjoy. We'll be back at the Clash at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, which was innovative in itself 3 seasons ago, and Chicago Street Race and Daytona 500. We have so much to look forward to in 2024. I don't know if you can top your off season last year. Bubba, you got married, but what are you doing for the off season?
Yeah, definitely can't top that. We're going to go to Costa Rica. We're going to go to 2 different places, like
fun.
opposite ends of the spectrum. We're going to Costa Rica, and then we're going to Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to Banff. So I've always wanted to go to Banff. Big in photography, so cool views out there.
Yes.
Costa Rica, we're going there Tuesday after the race Sunday, so excited for that.
Have you been before?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not. Yeah, just looking forward to saying no to a lot of the requests from my PR person. So
Sydney?
just turning the phone
There
off.
you go. Bubba is also he's a very talented photographer. So you have an Instagram page, don't you? I'm not going to shout it out, but if you do some
Yeah, I can't
searching,
do that.
you can find him.
I can't do that. I can't throw out my own shit. So.
Tyler, what are you doing for the off season?
You know, some friends are getting married, so hopefully be going to those weddings and having a good time. Excited for them. I mean, for me, the last couple of years, the off seasons have been pretty busy, whether it's been going from one team to another, or going from Gen 6 to next gen, or I guess more my side, right? Like, I think it was three years ago, as soon as the season was over, it was just full grind until February, trying to get in better shape. So this is one of the first times in a long time we've had off season come up where I feel like I can kind of catch my breath and I guess try to catch up on things at home and other items. So I am excited to see that. I could get a week into it and then be done and then ready to get back to work.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
That's usually how it happens with you race car drivers. You're ready to get back in the race car as soon as possible. All right, well, if you all are looking for 2 drivers to cheer for in the NASCAR Cup Series, there are no better 2 than these 2 right here. So we look forward to seeing what you boys do on Sunday, and we'll let you enjoy some off-season before I start bugging you again for 38 weeks of the year. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you,
Thanks.
everybody.
Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
guys.
Thank you.